Lumos. Hello everyone, welcome to Marvelous Marauders. We all know Neville Longbottom as the underdog who grew into a true Gryffindor hero. But what if I told you Neville's biggest struggle, his forgetfulness, wasn't just his being clumsy? What if it wasn't his fault at all? What if it was a result of something far darker? A memory charm placed on him as a child. And believe it or not, it took Mad-Eye Moody and an unforgivable curse to break through that charm and unlock the hero within. From the moment we meet Neville, he's known for one thing: forgetting stuff.
Hey, look! Neville's got a remember-all.
I've read about those. When the smoke turns red, it means you've forgotten something.
The only problem is, I can't remember what I've forgotten.
But it doesn't stop there. He constantly forgets passwords to Gryffindor Tower, once saying, "Thank goodness you found me. I've been out here for hours. I couldn't remember the new passwords to get into bed." And it's not just a one-time thing. In Prisoner of Azkaban, Neville loses the list of passwords he wrote down to avoid forgetting them. "I wrote them down, but I must have dropped them somewhere." It's played for laughs, but what if there's more to it? This isn't just poor memory. It's chronic. And it's not normal for a kid his age. Now here's where it gets heartbreaking. Neville's parents, Frank and Alice Longbottom, were tortured into insanity when he was just a baby.
I know for a fact this person took part in the capture, and by means of the Cruciatus curse, torture of the horror Frank Longbottom and his wife!
But unlike Harry, who vividly remembers the night his parents died, Neville doesn't recall anything about that traumatic event. Not even a flash. That's unusual, right? The theory is that someone, maybe his maybe a healer, placed a powerful memory charm on Neville to erase the trauma of witnessing his parents' torture. And memory charms can be dangerous. Just look at what happened to Bertha Jorkins. Barty Crouch Jr. even admitted, "My father put a very powerful memory charm on her to make her forget what she'd found out. Too powerful. He said it damaged her memory permanently." Sound familiar? Bertha wasn't always forgetful. Sirius Black even said, "The Bertha I knew wasn't forgetful at all. Quite the reverse. She was a bit dim, but she had an excellent memory for gossip." We also see the effect in Goblet of Fire when Mr. Weasley explains the side effects of memory modifications after Mr. Roberts, the Muggle campsite manager, had his memory erased following the torture by the Death Eaters the night before. "He'll be all right," said Mr. Weasley, quietly as they marched off into the moor. "Sometimes when a person's memory is modified, it makes him a bit disoriented for a while. And that was a big thing that had to make him forget." The key phrase is "a big thing they had to make him forget." Mr. Roberts was only tortured for a short time, but the memory modification still left him confused and dazed. Confused and dazed. That reminds me of someone. Another example, Gilderoy Lockhart. After his backfired memory charm in Chamber of Secrets, he completely loses his memory.
Say goodbye to your memories.
Oblivion!
And when we see him later in St. Mungo's, he's still lost. These cases show us that memory charms can cause permanent damage when overused or done improperly. One thing that stands out is, why is Neville's boggart the form of Snape?
Neville, what frightens you most of all?
Professor Snape.
Sorry?
Professor Snape.
Professor Snape, yeah. Frightens all.
Instead of a Death Eater? Specifically, one of the people who tortured his parents. Given what happened to him, you'd think that would be his worst fear, right? But Neville doesn't remember that night. His fear isn't shaped by the past he's forgotten, but by the present he knows. And in his day-to-day life, the most intimidating figure he faces is Snape. This suggests that his greatest fear isn't just a person, it's feeling powerless, being singled out, and not being good enough. But here's the twist. In Goblet of Fire, during Moody's lesson on the unforgivable curses, something extraordinary happens. When Moody casts the Cruciatus curse on a spider, Neville has an intense reaction. Harry looked around at Hermione. She was looking not at the spider, but at Neville. And Harry, following her gaze, saw that Neville's hands were clenched upon his desk in front of him. His knuckles white, his eyes wide and horrified. Why does he react so strongly? Because that curse unlocked something buried deep inside him. The emotional trauma, the suppressed memories, were bubbling just beneath the surface. Moody, intentionally or not, broke that memory charm. After that moment, we see a different Neville. He starts excelling at defense against the dark arts, shows remarkable courage in Dumbledore's army, and eventually leads the fight against the Death Eaters at Hogwarts. By the time we get to Deathly Hallows, he's fearless, standing up to Voldemort himself. "I'll join you when hell freezes over," said Neville. "Dumbledore's army!" And in the most heroic moment of his life, the boy who couldn't remember passwords becomes the man who remembers who he is and fights for it. Neville Longbottom's story isn't just about overcoming fear. It's about reclaiming an identity stolen from him by trauma, by magic, and by the past. And that's why he's not just a side character. He's the unsung hero of the wizarding world. But really the question is, what do you think? Was Neville's forgetfulness really caused by a memory charm? Did Barty Crouch Jr. unintentionally unlock his true potential? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't be like Neville and forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more deep dives into the Harry Potter universe. Thanks for watching. Nox.